Hello, everybody, and welcome to the POAP Community Call number 20. Nearly 21 and able to drink, but not quite there yet. My name is Mr. Mojo, and I'm excited as ever to be here tonight to talk to you about POAP. Hope you're safe and sound while you're listening to us. But I want to go ahead and introduce everybody that is up here. So, Superphiz, say hello. Glad to have you on.
Hey, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
As always, unfortunately, Genetics couldn't be with us tonight, but Logic Beach, you're still here. Say hello.
Hey everybody, the DGen bot is live, so yeah, good to be here.
All right, excellent. And Colfax, you're finally back up here. Hello, good to have you on.
Hello.
And for the first time on the show, Nixorokish, hello, glad to have you on.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for the right pronunciation of my name.
Oh, it's really not that difficult.
See, I agree with that. I don't think it's that hard. I think people are just complaining.
I'm a boomer. I get to boom.
And then finally, we have a reoccurring guest back on. Hello, DrMalachi, welcome.
Hey, glad to be back. This is your world. I'm just passing through. Glad to be on the call tonight.
Well, glad that you were able to show up. But as Logic Beach alluded to whenever he was introducing himself, he has the DGen bot up and running. Do you want to go ahead and describe what that is for us real quick, sir?
Yeah, right away. The DGen bot keeps track of who is listening or speaking in this call. And so if you want to earn a POAP for being here on the 20th POAP Community Call, just be here for at least 10 minutes during the show and do not deafen yourself, which is the little headphones icon next to your name and microphone in the bottom left. So yeah, we will stop the DGen bot at around, I think it's
about 55 minutes
0
from now.
UTC.
Yeah.
1 hour from now. 55 minutes, you're right. And you will be able to go into the POAP claim channel and claim your POAP for being here during the community call.
Amazing. Of course, we love to be able to give a POAP to everybody that comes to the call, and DGen bot allows us to do that, so shout out to them as always. So, let's go ahead and get right into the meat and potatoes of today's call. So, here are a few major news topics that I want to talk about, or I should say some major discussion topics that we should talk about first. So, I want to first dabble into a YouTube channel that was talking about POAP, and it is the Digital Asset News channel on YouTube. And it is a cryptocurrency news channel with over 325,000 subscribers. And the host, Rob, he was talking about his experience of wanting to give out an NFT for people who were participating in a sand volleyball league that he is part of. And he explains how he was unsure if people even knew what NFTs were or if they would even want them. And so he decided to go around to all the team captains and ask if they even knew about NFTs and if they wanted them. And he says about half were receptive to the idea. And so he decided to turn to POAP to make everything happen because it's free and it was easy for him to set up and use. He then goes on to talk about what is called the Flywheel Effect, which the Flywheel Effect, it happens when small wins for your business build on each other over time and eventually gain so much momentum that growth almost seems to happen by itself, similar to the momentum created by a flywheel on a rowing machine. And Rob's example, before talking about POAP, was actually how the internet basically first started getting more mainstream with AOL discs. So he describes how back in the day, you would get a disc in the mail that would install access to the internet on your computer. And then over time, slowly but surely, more and more people started using the internet. And now in 2020, we integrate the internet into everything that we use. We don't even realize it, but the internet is everywhere. And POAP is very similar. POAP creates an avenue for people to learn about and interact with NFTs, crypto wallets like MetaMask, and helps them further understand how blockchains work and more. And to paraphrase Rob, he says, first, it allows people to say that they've heard about NFTs, but they don't know much about them. However, they think that they're cool, so it turns into them wanting to figure out how to get them. And POAPs being free helps egg that along. And then it will turn into them learning about MetaMask wallets so that they can actually own the NFTs. And then finally, they'll begin the venture in the Web3 because they have become integrated into the space. He says, quote, "It's the flywheel effect. They don't know what it is, then they get engaged, then they become the actual crypto responsible person, and then they start to actually learn about crypto." So now, after I have described all this, here is what I want us to discuss. So do we notice a flywheel effect happening in POAP? And what behavior can we do to help create and or continue the flywheel effect in POAP? And I will open up the floor to anybody that would like to start the topic. But I do think it's very interesting. I had not heard of the flywheel effect until this moment. And it started getting me to think about where it is. But I'll allow Nixorokish. You can go ahead and start.
I'm not gonna lie. When you posted something about the flywheel effect earlier, I spent half an hour googling what flywheels are and going down a physics rabbit hole that I was like, I don't understand what's happening right now. But I did want to say I feel like it's a really good entry point. Today I participate in the Onion DAO. They run Tor nodes. I'm running a Tor node on a VPS, and somebody in the chat today mentioned Monero, and I was really excited because I have a friend who's really into Monero and has no interest in Ethereum. So I sent him over a screenshot and was like, people here like Monero too. Maybe you should come join the Onion DAO and get a POAP, which would onboard him onto the Ethereum ecosystem rather than just Monero, which I don't understand. I don't know anything about any other ecosystems. I don't know if there's like a community over there or what it's like.
I have to ask, are you talking about Banj?
No, but I could at him if I.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Great.
Wait. He might have been the one who mentioned Monero. I think he was. But yeah, my friend was like, "Oh, cool, check that out," and added himself to the Discord server. And so hopefully it does create a flywheel effect for this particular case. I think everybody loves getting POAPs. They're free. You don't have to like pay for them. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's kind of why I believe too that POAP is a great thing to help flywheel people into Web3. Rob, he makes a very good point where you get people to learn about what a POAP is. Well, in order for them to get the POAP, they have to have a wallet. So sure, maybe they reserve it to their email address, but they're going to be given the steps on how to actually mint their POAP. I should say correctly, air quote. Get it onto their wallet address and have it actually be on the blockchain and things like that. Well, now here's another word, blockchain. Well, you know about POAPs, and you want to learn how it works. Well, it runs on a blockchain. Now you're going to have to go and learn how blockchains work, maybe, or get more interested in how they work and stuff like that. So I think it's really interesting. And also even kind of the flywheel effect within POAP itself. Seeing how we sort of had this discussion last week where I was saying, how can I introduce POAP to new people? And Superphiz gave the advice of make a POAP for when people meet you. And so you can give them something. And that's one of those small wins. You tell people about it, you convince them to mint a POAP, and now maybe they reserved it to their email address. And well, if I want this POAP thing, then I need to have a crypto wallet. Let me go make a crypto wallet on MetaMask really quick, because that's what Mr. Mojo said I should get to quickly have a wallet or whatever. Stuff like that helps people integrate into the space quicker. And this idea of small wins turn into wins that just success will seemingly come in, or even not even seemingly, success will just come in because more and more people will want to use it. It's an interesting concept, and I hadn't really thought of it or even heard the term before until that time.
I kind of wonder if POAP will be kind of like one of those terms 2 or 3 years from now that there may be other similar things like the iPod. People started calling everything an iPod, or Kleenexes. Well, that's actually a brand, but it had such a mass appeal and culture that this one thing became the thing for a lot of things. And so I wonder, when you said flywheel effect, it reminded me of Malcolm Gladwell's The Tipping Point, and I think we're starting to get to that where critical mass is coming on board. So that's what made me think when you said that phrase was, oh, Malcolm Gladwell. So anyway.
That brand awareness distinction, it's kind of impressive how POAP has distinguished itself from NFT. Even though POAPs are technically, they follow the ERC 721 standard, they are technically an NFT. When you say POAP, no one really thinks, hey, this is an NFT. They really think this is a POAP. So I think it's really impressive that they've maintained that brand identity.
Yeah, I'll also say that too. When it comes to me describing POAPs, yes, I do use the word like it's an NFT, but I don't necessarily lump POAP with NFTs, or at least culturally. I see culturally POAP as something different from an NFT that you've been seeing like during DeFi summer and stuff like that. It's like a subcategory of NFT, but yeah, I think it's really interesting. I'm gonna definitely be sitting around the whole next week thinking about the flywheel effect and how it affects everything that I use and work on, or how it could have, and stuff like that. But okay.
Do you guys think it helps that it's minted on not the mainnet right now? So it doesn't. None of them like. I haven't seen a whole lot of POAP trading happening, and the fact that it's on a whole different chain and whole different
Yeah,
for
I
viewers.
I think
Yeah,
the fact that it is on Gnosis Chain and that users of POAP do not have to pay anything in order to use it really does help with access.
I think it helps with access, but it also helps distinguish it because you don't see it alongside your other NFTs.
Yeah, I see what you mean by that, or even just like the thought process of how it works or what it is. It's different because you're not paying a transaction fee. You're not trying to make a flip, or at least from how I use POAP, I'm not trying to make a flip. Or even just the whole culture around POAP training, around POAP trading, rather. It's really not what I see normally. I don't see people talking about trading POAPs more so than how can I go earn this POAP. Whereas people talk about how can I flip my NFT, or oh, how much ETH is my NFT. People never really talk about how much ETH is my POAP.
100%.
And something else like with POAPs and the flywheel effect that I'm thinking about is most other NFTs, you sort of just buy them to hold them and you have to buy them. Whereas like POAPs, you earn them for doing something. And then now your POAPs can be used to allow you to do something else. So say somebody's throwing an event for people that only hold this POAP, and maybe that event is in the metaverse. And so now in terms of flywheel, now like you got introduced to POAP, you have it now. And then now you're doing something else that's related to the fact that you own that POAP. And so I definitely think, yeah, POAP's like a great onboarding tool and sort of like a, as you're saying, like flywheel into Web3.
This is really neat because it is POAP is a non-financial use of Ethereum, and that's the future. It's the future we're all talking about, like Ethereum post money. So I love that it exists as that next generation kind of thing.
Yeah, the whole like post scarcity, post money society type stuff. Where yeah, I don't really collect POAPs for money. I collect POAPs for clout and flexing. But okay, everyone. Is there anything else that we want to say about the flywheel effect in POAP and Web3 before we move on? Okay, I'm going to take that as a no. So the next topic that I have on hand here, it is talking about the Complex Land 3.0 Metaverse event. So, from May the 25th through May the 27th, some important names in streetwear, sneakers, and art will be at Complex Land 3.0, the third edition of Complex's Metaverse event. And for those that don't know, Complex is a community of creators and curators on a mission to expose the true face of modern America. Armed with the internet, They defy the stale conventions of the past by shifting the world's attention to the movements within convergence culture. And the month of May is also marking Complex's 20th anniversary, so the virtual event will also cover 2 decades worth of history within Complex and convergence culture as well. But let's get into the details of this event. So, attendees of the event will be able to outfit their avatars with special collections created specifically for this event, including items from Adidas, Kerwin Frost, Studio Haggle, and more. There will also be collectible coins that will be present at the event that can be spent on special items. This event also sees the use of NFTs to give attendees access to exclusive activities, kind of like what Colfax was talking about just now. Brands like BBC, Diamond Supply Co., Food Fighters, and Weather Report will give, quote, other exciting opportunities, end quote, if you hold their NFT. Some of the main attractions that are going to be at Complex Land 3.0 are going to include Lil Michaela's NFT gallery that will display new and exclusive artwork each day of the event, a shop that allows you to purchase items that you can only get during the event, and other drops and surprises around playground zones that are normally used as meeting spots within this metaverse. There is also going to be a leaderboard for being part of the action during the event. So to quote from the article, it says, quote, coin spawns add to your point totals, entering you into daily prize drawings for the top 3 users, as well as giving you the chance to upgrade your avatar. Along with the exclusive physical items, this year's grand prize will boast 1 ETH. However, I do want to note that this feature and the prizes are only available for US residents only. So the event, of course, will be offering a POAP for those who attend. And if you're interested, I'm going to go ahead and drop the link to where you can go to check everything out. Again, this is going to be going through from the rest of the day through Friday, the 27th. And I just put the link in the community calls channel. So this is what I want to discuss about this in particular. So, with POAPs becoming more integrated into Metaverse events, is this another example of the Flywheel Effect? And I definitely think it is, because we've talked about on this call before how places like Decentraland, for example, you have some sort of virtual event in Decentraland, you give a POAP for it. Some DJs having a concert in Decentraland, give a POAP for going. Or even fashion shows like Estee Lauder having a fashion show, or Vogue having a fashion show. Sorry for those if I mixed up what they actually do, but they give a POAP for showing up to their real life events and even their virtual events. And so basically, is this another example of the Flywheel Effect? The floor is open to anyone.
It will create the flywheel effect.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
Yeah, I think we kind of saw this at the it was like the Pepsi and World of Women event, where they had a whole section dedicated to onboarding people to POAP specifically. But you also kind of see it too. Well, now they have to get their MetaMask wallet or something. They have to do this and that. And then they start to look at more Web3 stuff. I think it's interesting that a lot of focus when it comes to these virtual events happen to be in metaverses as well. It's kind of like the step that we're taking as a society, right? Why worry about what's happening in the real world when you can curate your own virtual world and have your event? It's kind of an interesting thing that we humans are doing right now, don't you think?
100%. I have to be honest, though. You said the Pepsi and the World of Women event. Somebody had put a screenshot of the POAP station, and I scanned as close as I could to get those QR codes and tried my best to get the POAPs. I hope I'm not the only one that tried it, but I did. I was unsuccessful, but I was trying really hard. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's why I admire you, DrMalachi. Like, you're going to go the distance to get the POAPs. That's what matters.
I love the effort.
Yes, I think the effort is great. And I feel like we had this discussion a while ago too, but like the different types of POAP collectors or POAP users, you have the people who are always making events, people who always try to attend them, and the people who try to farm them one way or another. And DrMalachi just proved he tries to farm them one way or another, right? He has that energy.
Yes, but ethically and courageously.
That's
with
right.
honor.
Yes, with honor, farm those POAPs.
I do think there are different categories of farmers. There are the farmers that try to mint like 100 of the same ones to their wallet, and then there are the farmers that are just like, I want as many POAPs as possible, and I'm going to get one. And
Yeah.
I'm less mad at the farmers.
Yeah.
We've actually, it's kind of an ongoing conversation in this call between kind of farmers and scammers. Like, all of us who love POAP are in some way farmers, but we're also not trying to scam the protocol to get more than our fair share.
Can we call the difference farmers versus gardeners? Because
Like that.
farmers are doing it on a mass scale, whereas I just want to make my garden a little bit bigger.
I love the idea of a POAP gardener. That's similar to the meme that I asked Logic Beach to develop. We might need to do a POAP gardener meme.
Yeah, that actually sounds like a cool
You can visualize it.
Yeah, like what's the word
Highly
I'm looking
curated.
for? Not necessarily label.
Pruned and like fertilized and like yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of like a nice category to put us in, right? Where it's basically I love collecting POAPs. I enjoy doing activities that allow me to acquire them, but I'm going to do the activity.
Yeah, there was a time where I was seeing a lot of Decentraland POAPs go through the feed, and I tried really hard to get some Decentraland ones, but my computer is too slow to run that. So I ran through a very laggy, freezy thing for like 3 or 4 days before I gave up.
Yeah. With the amount of POAP events that happen in the Central Land, I've looked at it once, but only once, and it was many months ago. I may end up actually taking a look at it and seeing what all is going on in there, because maybe it's just like we were talking about earlier with the Flywheel Effect. Maybe POAP will be the thing that integrates me into the virtual world. Who knows?
I kind of like that there are like different categories of people. Like one of my friends was getting interested in NFTs and asked me some questions, and I realized how different some of the communities were, because I was like, I don't know anything about that, and I can't even introduce you to people who are, because like the people who go on Decentraland are people I know nothing about. I don't know anything about that community.
I've really wanted to become a part of Decentraland, but I couldn't I wasn't able to get comfortable with the interface, and I just stopped trying every time.
Is that something you would want to wear? The headset goggles, or the VR headsets for?
No, actually, it doesn't support VR.
Okay.
I actually bought VR so that I could feel more immersed in it, and then I discovered that they don't support VR headsets. It's
Oh
only
no! I hope you were able to return those.
Oh no, I mean, I wanted it's sort of a new evolution of tech that I needed to learn anyway, so it's not a loss.
Yeah, it's not the
You're not that
biggest.
much of a boomer.
It makes the Matrix seem more real. We now know how everybody got plugged into the machines. They did it themselves.
Oh goodness, don't get Superphiz started on the Matrix. That's definitely one of the things that he loves talking about, or at least concepts from it anyway.
When he heard that I hadn't seen The Matrix, he like sat me down. He's like, "You have to watch this tonight," and I did, and it was a good movie.
I'm pretty sure like The Matrix is the movie that is most aligned with Ethereum and cryptocurrency in general.
This man asked me, "Have you seen The Matrix?" I told him I've seen the first one, and he said that's all that's relevant.
I just wanted to mention I didn't know that there was any other diehard Matrix fans. I did not know that about you, Superphiz. Me too.
Yeah, so this is totally off topic, but my son's internet persona, I'm creating it now, and as I'm Fizz, his is Morphiz, and I want his image to be that of Morpheus, so the whole Morphiz kind of yeah, it's a stretch. I'm
Good
sorry.
play on words. But okay, so there is one more topic that I have for some general discussion and things going around. So the last one will be Web3 startup Medallion raises over $9 million in seed funding round. So The reason why this is relevant is because POAP Ventures had invested in a Web3 startup named Medallion. And with tons of interest and support from around the music, tech, and crypto industries, Medallion is working on technology to help artists, quote, own and operate digital worlds in Web3 to expand fan participation, actionable insights, and economic potential, end quote. In a media statement, Medallion explains, quote, fans can join communities that look and feel native to an artist's world through a frictionless Web3 onboarding that requires no technical setup or payments. And they also added, as community members, fans can access. Wow, this is not something I can say right now. Excuse me, tongue-tied. Let me try one more time on this one. Quote, as community members, fans can gain access to behind-the-scenes content, special events, and limited edition products. Members can also participate in the creative process around music and art, and own part of the outputs to get closer to the art they love. So basically, POAP Ventures decided to put a seed investment into a metaverse that will basically allow artists to, from what I understand, hold events to their liking, having surroundings around them that they like most or can help enhance their performance better. But here's what I want to actually discuss. So CEO Matt Jones, he had a great comment on Web3 stating, quote, the opportunity in Web3 is about building long-lasting connections, not short-term financial gains. So this sort of begs a question, I think, and that is, how has Web3 and or POAP helped us, or helped you, however you want to think of it, build long-lasting relationships? Because I feel like that is something very important about POAP. How can it help you build long-lasting relationships? Because POAP is a tool that can do that. I know for me, POAP has allowed me to come on here and, well, discuss POAP and meet a whole bunch of people and have a reason to actually talk to people often, like Superphiz and Logic Beach and stuff. But yes, how has Web3 or POAP helped you build long-lasting relationships?
I think it's created a new affinity where people are connecting not so much geographically or relationally, but through just through passions. Now, but I think the question is, how quality are those relationships? Because I think that takes a lot of emotional intelligence to sustain quality relationships. But I think at least introductions, new communities, new friends, new circles. I mean, because I think it lowers the barrier. There's an instant commonality. There's not instant differences or divisions. 'Cause there's a lot of things we probably don't know about each other, but we're united because we have a passion around something. So I think it's created an instant connection at a heart level through passion, kind of like a sports team. If you see somebody with the same jersey in the same town, you feel an affinity, or some to that nature, to that degree.
I would say I I worked with the Rocket Pool community probably 6 months last year, sort of just developing cohesion there, and we really used a lot of POAPs to do that. I'm sure there are people here who have Rocket Pool POAPs now that they hold very dear. So like anytime we could find something to kind of say this is something that happened to us or with us as a community, we created a POAP, and it was a lot of fun. And now we can look back at our POAP wallets and say these are the great experiences we had together, and they're what kind of define us as a community.
I really like the sports reference too. I used to play roller derby, and we all had roller derby names. And I would meet people who were like, "Oh, my friend plays roller derby. Do you know her?" And I would be like, they would give me her name, and I'd be like, "I don't know any of my roller derby friends' real names, and so I don't know if it's the same person." And half the time, I don't even know what they did for a living, just because that thing binds you so strongly. And I don't know. I like in this community, I like being known as my as Nixorokish, as that name. And I feel like it develops a certain bond because you develop an identity around it, and you like having people who know that identity and who connect with you about that identity.
Right. Yeah. We've talked about before, but something that we have spotlighted was POAP Meet, which is basically a tool that allows you to match POAPs with other people. And POAP definitely is a tool that allows you to at least find people that you could potentially build long-lasting relationships with. Sort of like that sports reference where, yeah, you find somebody. I'm a Tennessee Titans fan, for example, when it comes to football. And if I see somebody wearing Tennessee Titans gear, I always go, hey, yeah, Titans up, let's go. Or maybe very small conversation about this and that about the team or about the NFL in general. Or just things like that where it's a signifier that allows you to start conversation. And Web3 and POAP for me have definitely been something that has allowed me to do that, especially, hey, I'm excited to go get the POAP for this thing, or even, hey, you should come to this event, we're giving a POAP for it. Or, hey, we want to give a POAP for this event, do you want to help us create it? Or do you want to help us make sure that it was distributed properly? Being able to use POAP to tie myself into the ecosystem and build these long-lasting relationships has been great for me.
I think that's a great way to also just honor like the 1,627 people on this call right now, because there's a lot of people every week, and it does feel like an exclusive, inner access, inner circle. We're united together. And so, I mean, I know we can't shout everybody's name on that, but it's just everyone who's in the chat commenting, everything. It's you're a part of something greater than yourself, and there is power in collective, in a collective, and uh, no one's hardwired to be just a loner. I don't think. I think we're all hardwired for relationships, and I think we like the idea of building new ones and becoming the best version of ourselves in a new way, in a new space.
Mm-hmm. Plus, also, when you really think about it, something that helps our relationships move along is being able to do activities together. What's the point of having a relationship with somebody if you're not going to interact with them? And POAP is a great way and a motivator for people to actually go and do activities. And so it is a how can I say it? It is a great building block for relationship building, I guess. But all right, is there anything else that we want to say about this before I go ahead and hand the floor off to Colfax and Nixorokish?
Nothing else to say on my end, but I've got a jet, so I just want to say I love you guys. I appreciate you, but every Wednesday night I got something going on right around this time. So just you guys are awesome, and I just love being part of the POAP community. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Yep, no problem. Thanks for
Hope you'll
stopping
keep us
by.
I hope you'll keep us tuned in about your big run. I think it's going to be awesome.
Absolutely. I'd love to share that sometime for sure. Would love to share more about it. It's extreme, to say the least. So anyway.
Yep, but
Bye-bye.
thanks for coming up and giving your thoughts on some of the discussion topics that we had this week, DrMalachi. Always a pleasure.
Hey, honored by you guys. Thanks a lot. Bye.
All right, so Colfax and Nixorokish. Both of you, of course, work. Well, Colfax created POAP, Get POAP. Yes, Colfax created POAP. Obviously.
Not POAP.
Yes, Colfax created Get POAP, and Nixorokish has started working for Get POAP. So, I'm going to go ahead and give you all the floor to talk about some Get POAP updates, and I have a few questions for both of you, so I'll let you go ahead and start.
Definitely. Well, first, a big warm welcome to Nixorokish for joining the Get POAP team. She started with us on Monday, so just a couple days ago. She's been working with us a little bit on the side, but now she's officially with us full time.
I am so stoked to be here. So I've been working a little bit with Colfax, and I was really excited because he's also part of the East Acre community, and that's how I got connected with him through the East Acre community, which also lends to creating lasting relationships, because the way that I got plugged into this was just getting involved in East Acre. But anyway, yeah. So do you want to go through the updates?
Exactly. And that kind of like also plays into the flywheel effect too, of like just meeting somebody in Web3 and then getting more involved and then helping out on projects. And I've seen it happen multiple times where you just start helping out on something and then next thing you know, some things can lead to like a full-time job opportunity. So
Yeah, it really showcases strength just to start to help out, because you end up doing things that you are good at and things that you want to help out with.
yeah, definitely. So I will just give a quick high level for people that aren't familiar with GitPOAP, and then I'll pass it off to Nixorokish to give a little bit of an update on how things have been going and maybe leak some new things that we're going to be coming up with soon here pretty closely. So for those not familiar, GitPOAP, as you might be able to tell by the name, is a platform that integrates POAP minting into GitHub. And GitHub, for those not familiar, is kind of like Google Docs, but for code. It's a place where software developers collaborate on building different software projects. And so really what we're doing is we built a platform that allows you to mint POAPs and hand POAPs out to people that are contributing to different software projects, specifically open source software at this point. So we are really excited to use POAP as a way to like represent your professional contributions and sort of build up a record of what you've been doing in Web3 through software contributions, but like on-chain through POAPs. And so we've had a lot of fun with that. We launched just about a month and a half ago. And so far we've onboarded, I think about like 30 or so different projects. We've been to a couple of hackathons as well. So we gave out POAPs to everybody who participated in different hackathon projects. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I'm going to pass off to Nixorokish to talk a little bit more about what we've been up to recently and what we're going to be working on next.
So one of the first things that I want to talk about is they just finished the CLR East Acre funding round, and GitPOAP was able to onboard the first 8 projects from there and offered priority onboarding to GitPOAP for those projects. And side note, not all of them are onboarded. So if anybody listening is part of a project that was participating in the CLR funding round, please reach out if you wanted to be onboarded and you have not been yet. Another thing is today we just announced that that GitPOAP has now enabled ongoing issuance. So that means that when you integrate GitPOAP, new contributors become eligible for those POAPs as those pull requests are merged. And the last thing I want to talk about is we are integrating tiered issuance, and that is a project that is in progress right now, and that is to recognize that not all contributors contribute equally. There are some that contribute more to a project, and so we want to recognize that with different tiers of GitPOAPs.
Yeah, exactly. So what we did for launch is we just issued out a GitPOAP to anybody who contributed to a project once. And we're excited that we're nearly complete with building out a way to detect sort of people that have contributed more. And so they'll get an even more exclusive POAP. And I'm excited because that now we can just sort of distinguish like who's a more either repetitive contributor or a bigger contributor to projects based on their POAP collections. And that enables us to do even more cool things on top of POAP. So I guess that also kind of ties into the flywheel effect. So I'm glad you brought that up, Mr. Mojo. So far, we've had about, I think, like 350 GitPOAPs minted. And we have about, I think, 30 projects supported, and we have another 30 or 40 that are in progress right now. And so we're going to be, actually, we're just working on onboarding a couple more today, a lot of the East Acre CLR fund projects, and we have a whole bunch more that we're going to be coming out with next week. So keep an eye on our Twitter. That's where we're going to be announcing all of the new projects that are onboarded, as well as our Discord, which you can find at gitpoap.io/Discord. Am I able to post a Twitter link in the community call? Yeah.
So Nixorokish, you're new at GitPOAP. But what is your role and how has it been so far?
So it's a pretty small team so far. So my role is business development lead, and right now I'm just doing a whole lot of organizing and liaising and operational things that are helping everybody else. So I'm plugging holes is essentially what I'm doing.
Yes, she's helping us actually streamline and organize our processes since it's a lot's been up in the air since we launched.
All right, Colfax. So me and you have spoken in the past about a 333 plan. So what is your 3-month plan with Git POAP going into the summer?
Ooh, good question. Are you looking for another alpha leak there, Mr. Mojo? So tiered issuance is what we're calling it, is the next big focus, which will be coming out soon. And I'd say after that, something that we want to do. So right now it's a relatively manual process to onboard projects to get POAP and get POAPs out to contributors. We are really focused on making that process as quick and as smooth and streamlined as possible. And so eventually we'd actually like project owners to be able to go to Get POAP and claim their repository and basically say, hey, I own this. And then actually right there, come up with some artwork and be able to mint POAPs to your contributors like right there on the spot. And of course, there's like a lot of challenges there, and we need to be mindful about curation and make sure that the projects that are doing this are actually like real projects and the artwork is up to quality. But what we want to do is really like decrease the amount of time it takes to create Git POAPs as much as possible. So that's sort of our next big focus after tiered issuance. And I think you'll see some exciting updates there this summer for how you're able to create Git POAPs on your own.
If somebody wanted to be onboarded to Git POAP, where would they go?
I would recommend probably the best place that we're able to get you on quickest is head on over to our Discord server. And there's a channel in there for suggest a repo. So that's one place. And another place you can do is you can go to our website, gitpoap.io, and submit your repository into the submit a repo section at the bottom. So those are the two places.
Awesome. Glad to hear that everything's going great with Git POAP. It's definitely something that I'm happy to see is building more and more every single day. The small wins will make your business successful in ways you can't imagine, right, Colfax?
Yep.
All right, so thank you so much for giving us some updates on Git POAP, and thank you, Nixorokish, for talking about what all you do there and how you've been helping out. But okay, so
I just was gonna say thanks.
no problem. So there are 3 more things that I want to talk about when it comes to the ecosystem of POAP and what people have been doing with basically third-party development. So something that we have done on this call before is host a POAP raffle. There is actually a new place that you can go to very easily have a POAP raffle. It is called Random POAP. So basically, it allows users to create instant raffles, with no sign-up required by the POAP holder. Basically, a user can go to randompoaps.com, which I'm about to place a link to in the community calls channel. And what you do is you put in the event ID of any POAP that you want to be in the raffle. And then you will tell it how many winners that you want to be selected, and then within seconds it will give you your winners. And I do have some photos of me using it. Give me 1 second to get them up here if I can find them. Here we are. So first you want to select the ID. Then you want to tell it how many winners you want, and then you just click on start raffle, and I'm telling you, it's like 10 seconds. It'll give you the address of who had won, and you can do whatever you wish. There's nothing on there that states prizes or anything. It's very, very simple. It's literally you select what POAPs you want, how many winners, and then hit start, and then it's up to you to contact them. I think this is kind of neat because, like I said before, we have tried to done some raffles in the past, or even GetPoApp had done one that I won, and we had used the POAP.fun, I think it's called, and it uses block numbers or something in order to pick out who is going to win. But this, I don't know how it selects. It just gives you the address. But definitely a tool to keep in mind if you want to use POAPs for raffles. Something else that is brand new in the third-party space. So Glory Labs, they had introduced a new web widget that displays POAPs. So they had introduced what is called pin.poap.in, and here is the link for that. It is a very, very, very simple widget that basically allows you to pick a format to display your POAPs, and then it allows you to take a code string and basically you can put it into your website and into your app however you want. There's a few customization options. For example, you can have like GetPoApp style, how it's like the is it hexagons, Colfax?
Yes.
Is it septagons or sexagons?
Hexagons.
Hexagons, okay.
Hexagons,
yes. Yeah, so yeah, me and geometry. Haha, anyway. Like you can have it in that kind of style, or you can have the normal circles, and you can set it up how you wish. And a demo of how things can look can be found here. I'll also post that in the chat as well. So do what you will with that. And then one last thing that I want to talk about in a third-party space. So I believe it is like ALIN protocol. They will enable gate-funded, excuse me, let me try this one more time. ALIN protocol will enable gated fundraising. Basically, communities can airdrop NFTs and POAPs to early protocol users, which will give them exclusive access to funding rounds, and other protocols can also use this to whitelist NFTs and POAPs. Not too much to say about this one, but there is a tweet if you are interested, and I will also put that in the community calls channel for you. But that was pretty much all I had for the third-party integrations this week. Is there anything that anyone wants to point out really quick before we move on to our Poep Spotlight? All right, rolling on along. So I'm also going to be hosting the Poep Spotlight this week. So let me go ahead and get this ready on my end so I can do this for everybody. Okay, so the first POAP that I want to talk about during the Spotlight this week. So there was a concert in Las Vegas. It was Gareth Emery, I believe that is how you say his name. I don't know too much about him, but he is a trance and progressive house artist and DJ. And he had dropped a POAP for his concert in Las Vegas. So really cool to see more music industry people coming. They want to give a POAP for people that attend their concerts. And also another one of those Flywheel Effect events where you tell people about POAP. They want to get a POAP. They have to get their wallet to have their POAP and everything. So really cool. Glad to see that more artists are using POAP at their concerts. The next one that I want to talk about, there was a NFT showcase in Florence, Italy at the Palazzo Strozzi. If I can say that correctly, I'm not Italian, so that is not something that easily comes off my tongue. But essentially, it was a place for you to go to take a look at some NFT art from some very prominent artists. And if you showed up, you were able to get a POAP. And here is that for you as well. So, seems like a pretty cool event to have gone to. 100 people were able to claim that. Very nice. That actually seems pretty good. I don't know how many people showed up to the event in total, but I feel like 100 for an NFT art exhibition sounds pretty good. So, moving on to our next drop. So, we have spoken about them a lot as well, but Estee Lauder. They had a POAP drop for Metaverse in Web3 training. So if you had showed up to one of their training events, you were able to get a POAP for participating and getting more integrated with your role at Estee Lauder. So I think that's really cool that they want to give POAPs for people doing training. I think we actually talked about this last week. How I think Genetics was talking about it. How getting POAPs for completing things like job training and stuff like that. So here's Estee Lauder trying to come out and do that themselves. Pretty neat. And then for the last POAP that I have on the spotlight this week, so hardware wallet company Ledger, they had a pop-up at VCon. It is the Scab Shop that they had. So if you went to VCon and you showed up to their pop-up Scab Shop, you would have been able to collect this POAP. Pretty neat. Unfortunately for people like Superphiz, he wasn't able to get his POAP for owning his ledger, but at least if he could show up to their events, he'll get one, right?
I guess. I messed that up on my own. I ordered it from Amazon because I wasn't totally comfortable ordering directly from Ledger.
It is what it is. But okay. That was all I had for the Poep Spotlight this week, everyone. Oh yes. Did that I had spoke about this last week, but the pizza day here in the chat. Thank you for posting that in chat. Actually, it's something that we had spoke about last week, but it seems like the pizza day event in Buenos Aires went very well. 612 people went. Pretty good, pretty good. Did anybody else participate in Bitcoin Pizza Day? Because I know that I ended up forgetting.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool event to commemorate. I work in the same room as my wife Britton, and she's a POAP curator. So I heard a lot of Bitcoin Pizza Day POAPs being minted of like all over the world. It's a huge event, and I'm happy to see that people want to celebrate something. So I guess I don't know the word for it. Like it really was necessary for crypto to gain traction.
Right.
It's just pretty cool to think about paying 10,000 Bitcoins for a pizza. But it was only like $30 worth of Bitcoin. It's really cool.
Yep, here you go, the draw it full circle. It was the Flywheel event.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I was just gonna say, just in case people aren't aware of that particular event, some guy ordered some pizzas via somebody else. He paid them 10,000 Bitcoin to order pizza to his address. This was in like 2011. So yeah, it was an event that helped legitimize cryptocurrency. Go ahead.
And Ethereum actually has a pizza DAO. It's at rarepizzas.com, where you can sort of coordinate with a lot of other people who, not just on Bitcoin Pizza Day, but it is like that's their primary event. All through the year, they kind of use crypto to give pizza out. It's sort of an evangelism thing that I really love. It's a really cool DAO at rarepizzas.com.
We met them in East Denver. It was really cool. They held some really kind of amazing events.
Yes.
For people.
Also, shout out to Pizza DAO. Actually, Nixorokish, you can go ahead first.
I was just gonna say that's awesome. I remember there used to be or is a subreddit for people sending random pizza, and that's a much better way to do it.
Yes. When it comes to Pizza DAO, shout out to them. When I was standing in line to get in the Shelling Point at East Denver, they were going around handing out slices of pizza to people, and it really helped out my appetite standing in line. So thanks for help giving me nutrients and substance while I was waiting in line to get in the Shelling Point at East Denver. Thank you, Pizza DAO. But okay. We have about 4 minutes left for the community call this week. Is there any last comments, questions, concerns that anybody on the panel wants to talk about before we get into POAP distribution? All right, I'm going to take the silence as a no. So, as we all know, we give out a POAP on this community call. Logic Beach, do you want to go ahead and describe how people can claim their POAP?
Yes. So what you'll do is you'll go into the POAP-claim channel, and you will type Well, actually, you know what I haven't done yet? Take a guess.
Oh, you haven't allowed the bot to get
Look,
names
it's
yet.
like the end of my workday. Hold on, let me finish this real quick and give it the codes. But yeah, essentially you will go to the POAP claim channel and give it like 2 minutes. Like wait a minute at least. But you'll go in there and you will type /claim to claim your POAP for being here at this event. I just gave it the codes. It should work here shortly. So again, that is //claim. Yeah.
Yes, and
Right
please,
now, it's
not
working.
yes, not in the community calls channel. It is in the POAP claim channels here in the same Discord. On my screen, it's actually the chat channel below the one that you would be in to talk to us right now. So, if you would like your POAP for coming on the call, of course, go to the POAP claim channel, type /claim, and get your POAP. It seems like every single week, more and more people want to come in and listen to us and get their POAP, doesn't it?
Yeah, what's the listening count right now? Yeah, we're up almost. I see it grow like by at least 100 every week. It's good news.
Yeah.
How did you do the animation text, Logic Beach? That's pretty cool.
It's just a quick screen grab. Mac, whatever this latest version is, you can do Shift Command 5 and choose any section of the screen and like screen record. It's really neat.
That's fancy pants.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I like using Gaiazo or however you say it. You can do like a GIF recordings on certain sections of your screen.
Oh, I actually use a third-party app that I paid for called GIFski to convert the video to a GIF. I'm not that fancy. That sounds cool though. Like recording directly to a GIF, that's a superpower.
Shiny calling us out for inconsistent naming conventions for our POAP. How dare you do that to us? No, I'm just playing. But yeah, it seems like every week more and more people come in. We normally do like 1,500 mint links, and that number is going to have to go up now, it seems.
Yeah, if that's what we got this time, we may be a few short, so get in there and /claim your POAP.
Did last week, was it 1,500 codes as well? Or was it more? Because I know it was almost 1,500 claims. It was like 1,480 or something. Very close.
Total participants was 1,708.
For this call?
For this call, yeah.
1,708 people can get their POAP on this call. Very cool.
The actual number of links that we got. Genetics would know that, but she is out. Interesting.
Yeah, I would say crank it up to 1,750 now. But alright, everybody, this is going to be it for me tonight. I hope everybody has a great rest of their evening or morning or whatever time it is for you. Stay safe and have a good one.
It was great to see you all. Bye-bye.
Mr.
Good night,
Mojo,
good night.
thanks so much for everything.
See you next week.
Bye.